Welcome to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast with Mike Kincaid and Jake Goebel. Join them as they experience specialty coffee and document their journey. These friends explore roasts and roasting methods, brewing equipment and techniques, and review the cafes they visit along the way.
Thanks, Brioni, and thank you for joining us for episode 80 of the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast, where Mike and I talk about the fact that he still hadn't got his December dripper yet. Apparently, it has shipped now. We got the email. Apparently, it's shipped. The Nestle takeover of Blue Bottle, our coffee experiences at Royal Coffee and Press Coffee, Scott Rayo's V60 video, and our journey to try and find the next Saguaro coffee. Thanks for joining us. Let's jump right in. It's too late. I already started.
What, you already started?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do this live. Close the laptop real quick for me. We'll be right with you, everyone. Just one quick moment. Look at the camera, Jake. Give me a nice smile. We're getting a screenshot for our website. Okay. You know, I was looking through hours of footage last night, trying to find one where we're both looking and relatively smiling. Could not find one.
Well, I'll cut all of this out.
No, this is good stuff. This is real.
Yeah, but nobody wants to hear this.
I think they do, because this is behind the scenes. This is how we get the great screenshot. We fake it. Okay, and now we can begin.
Why is the camera focused on you? Now there it's on me. Okay, perfect. All right, good deal, good deal. All is well in the world. The camera loves me, not Michael. And I'm going to start now. Welcome to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast. This is Jake Goebel. I am sitting here with the Mike Kincaid. Mike, can you give him the mic voice real quick?
It's a little warm in here today, buddy. I don't know.
You could probably open that door up and get a cross breeze because nobody's home. It's just us. It's just us in the studio. The studio.
Yep.
Just us.
Good. Making it awkward quick.
Perfect. Yes. Well, I'm just saying we could get a little cross breeze going because I've got the window open.
Oh.
Yeah. So we're not going to,
run the risk of
hyperhydroplating in here.
I can feel it. That feels better.
Yeah, it's nice.
Good pro tip. Good job.
Thank you. Pro tip, get a cross breeze going. Little pro tip. For your coffee, roastery, cafe, whatever it is that you've got going, get adequate oxygen and airflow going through your workspace.
That's a good point.
Bada boom, bada bing. And that was the pro tip of the week.
You don't necessarily need to lower the temperature if people are hot. If you just have a little air movement.
Right, a little bit of movement. It's better.
Yep.
Do I need to make a jingle for pro tip of the week? Or that just happens?
Just happens.
That just happens.
Just
okay.
Do it on the fly.
Awesome. All right. Well, this is a podcast about coffee.
Sometimes.
And I'll tell you what's not happening in just a moment. But this is a podcast about coffee, specialty coffee, artisanal coffee.
Oh, come on now.
Whatever you want to call this kind of coffee, special coffee. Yes.
Coffee such as this.
Coffee such as this. Mike is setting in front of the camera. He's setting some press coffee. Of course, we're Orange Cactus Coffee, and here we are promoting another company's brand again. That's what
we do.
It seems that's what we always do.
A rising boat raises all occupants.
Perfect. But we talk about coffee. We talk about things going on in coffee, not only kind of current events, but also brewing coffee, roasting coffee. If this is your first time hearing it, thank you for joining us. Hopefully it's not your last. If you've listened to us before, thank you for coming back. I mean, after everything that you've heard before, you decided to come back, and that says a lot about you. It says that you are a noble and a kind person, and you have a high tolerance for fools. That's kind of what that means.
Yeah.
But what's not happening
that
right
aside,
now, let me tell you what's not happening.
Okay, good.
The December dripper is not happening. So this is it. I hope you never get it because it's become a running joke.
Yeah, it's now a character.
The December dripper is not here. It's not showing up. Mike paid good money. A lot of people paid a lot of good money to December dripper. Whatever the company, whatever Nick Joe's company's name is, he and his business partners. And a lot of backers have not received this device from their Kickstarter campaign. The Kickstarter campaign raised almost $60,000.
Yeah.
And many have not seen hide nor hair of it. And
it's unfortunate. Yeah. Many have received it.
Yeah.
And we're just holding out. I did send them because we mentioned, I don't know if it was last time or.
Yeah, we sent you.
We said, hey, you need to email them. So I did twice. Two different channels.
It's on its way.
Well, they
eventually.
never replied. They haven't replied to any of my personal requests.
Oh, it's just the comments on their Kickstarter.
Just their main post. I think because they're probably getting hit up a lot.
Well, they probably just deleted your emails the same way they deleted the criticism on Instagram.
What are you talking about?
I think that's a fair assessment. Well, they gave out free ones to SCA. They're for sale at Prima Coffee, and the Kickstarter, there are sufficient Kickstarter backers that have not received anything to solicit a response on social media, Instagram, Twitter, etc. And those responses are being deleted.
I know. Some of them are pretty good, but they are legit.
Should we write a song?
Write a song?
Waiting for December.
Oh.
Should we make a little song and then put it out there? Or is that too much? Is that putting them on blast too much? Look at that. In stock, quick ship, ships out next business day. Price match $58 for your December dripper at primacoffee.com.
That is. They were out of stock last time.
Are there any comments there?
Let's see. I don't see any comments.
No comments about the December. But the December, it is a very interesting device. The concept behind it is that you can turn it and twist it, and that will open or close
the
holes
valve
on the bottom.
Yeah. Hey, no hassle return. I'm going to order this one. When I get my other, then I'll return it.
Boom.
You just got to game the system.
Boom.
You can't just sit back. You got to play it.
Boom. But they're hanging on to that $58 for you until that time. And you probably have to pay something for shipping.
Oh, there is one question.
Yeah. Let's read the question. I just purchased the new December dripper. When I turn it to 0, it still dribbles some.
I like that word.
I have tightened the screw. And I get the dripper to 0 flow.
Can I?
Can I? Is that supposed to be a can?
I think it's supposed to be can.
And then what do they say? Hi there.
Can you see it?
Some flow at setting 0 is normal. Unfortunately, the gasket isn't able to completely stop water from dripping through. Perfect.
So that's the answer. But wait, hold up.
But that's not what the December dripper is advertised as being. You are supposed to be able to treat it as an immersion device. And the Bonavita immersion dripper will not let any water through. And if it breaks, they'll send you a new one, which Bonavita did for me.
With a simple turn of the dripper's base, you can select from 3 different flow rates or shut off the flow almost entirely.
Oh, almost entirely. Okay, perfect.
So they have an almost in there.
Almost entirely. So there's always going to be a little bit of a dribble. So can we call it the December dribble? I'm going to call it the December dribbler.
That is too good.
So the December dribbler.
Because even at 0, even at nil, it dribbles.
I don't want to give him any more airtime.
No, this is good stuff.
I'm frustrated with... Wait a minute, I didn't spend any money. I didn't put any money down. You're the only one that hasn't received anything.
I was so excited. So excited.
But I'm going to move on. I'm going to move on to happy things. Happy things,
good.
Successful things.
Pick my spirit right back up, buddy.
Things that will make you happy.
I'm dribbling a little low here.
That Nestle has bought Blue Bottle.
What?
$500 million, bought them 68% share in the company Blue Bottle. And they think there's tremendous growth for Blue Bottle around the country. And they are coming for you.
Yeah.
Jimmy's coming for you.
Jimmy.
That's
Nestle?
James Freeman.
Oh. Yeah.
Well,
no, he's on a beach somewhere now. Drinking Mai Tais.
I don't think so. I think he's still running the thing.
Think he's still actively involved?
Yeah, and I think
he's still driving on one condition.
I think he's still driving the same Prius.
I get to work the stand at the farmer's market.
I just want my stand back.
That's an illusion. An illusion?
It's an $1 million stand.
And alluding to
what?
The movie Founder about McDonald's history. Which if you haven't seen it,
have you seen it?
Yeah, I watched it the other night.
Really?
It's actually
is it on
quite
Netflix,
good.
Amazon? What did you do?
Netflix.
Was it free? Wait a minute.
Yes.
Netflix costs money, but everything on Netflix
it's
you
free.
get.
Netflix is free, at least to my kids. Hulu, Netflix.
It's all free.
It's all free.
It's all free. It's all free.
Yeah,
perfect.
You get what you pay for.
So The Founder was on Netflix, and you liked it. What did you like about it?
It's just the story, and I think for the most part, it's pretty accurate. Of course, it's embellished, but of how McDonald's started. Kroc and
came in.
The McDonald's brothers, and how they started it, and how Kroc inserted himself, and then
took over.
Basically, found a way to take over. Yeah,
took control of it, franchised it.
One of the lines was, "We'd let a wolf." Yeah, a hen in the hen house. That's okay.
A hen in the hen house is typically all right.
That's perfectly fine.
Unless you're trying to create a hen house without hens.
Yeah. unless it was a henless house.
Right.
And that was
but
the
it's
intention.
not, but it's a hen house.
We
so
let a
hens are
wolf
okay.
in the hen house.
Yeah.
Was one of the lines.
So do you think that's with Nestle? They let wolves in the hen house that is Blue Bottle?
No, I don't. No, I'm not saying that. I was just making the connection because one of the agreements at the end is, hey, we get to keep our original store. No problem. But you can't call it McDonald's. So I was just thinking, James, you're like, hey, you can have the market, but you can't call it Blue Bottle.
Yeah.
He's probably a little smarter than that.
That is too good. Did they get any money? The McDonald's brothers get any money out
According
of
to the film, they each got $1.3 million, and they got to retain the original store because they wanted to gift it to their employees.
Yeah.
But they couldn't call it McDonald's.
So what is it
called? And then
now?
Mr. Kroc opened up a McDonald's right across the street.
That's how he do,
and
baby.
put them out of business, I think, within 2 years.
Now, here's the thing. You have to be ruthless in business? Do you have to be a little bit?
And that's what he said.
Do you have to kill all competitors?
He said, unless you're willing to draw blood. Are you willing to draw blood? And they said, no. Then you can't make it.
You're going to lose. Wow. Wow. That's harsh. That is harsh. So, all that to talk about Nestle and Blue Bottle. Great. Companies that we have absolutely zero interest in. I've never even been to a Blue Bottle. I like their coffee. I have their dripper.
We like
their
dripper.
Their filters. But
they were influential in getting us inspiring us.
Kick in the pants. The kick in the pants that we needed to get back on the coffee train.
What am I drinking?
Come on, ride that train. Choo, ride it. That coffee train. That coffee train.
There you go.
Speaking of singing during podcasts, the Cat and Cloud podcast, you wanted to talk about knowing about coffee doesn't matter. We talk about coffee history. We talk about the coffee science. We talk about coffee, all kinds of coffee stuff. But Chris and Jared, they say it's it's not important. Secondarily? It's of secondary importance.
They had a recent podcast, and within the context of it, I think they were talking about when you're starting a company, when you're trying to train employees, teaching them about the history of coffee, knowing about the name of the farmer whose goat supposedly stumbled upon the first coffee bean and ate it, coffee cherry, is not as important as understanding the vision and what the company's about, and how they want to treat customers.
And the customer service.
Exactly, and how to prepare coffee.
What do you think about that?
I would agree. But.
Why do you have to put a but at the end?
Because there's always a but.
There's always a but.
You can't walk away without seeing the but.
Okay, but?
But I think you also have to realize that information is important. And I think you had a great analogy for connecting that when we first kind of talked about this.
I did something good? And you're freely confessing
you forgot about it?
To the public, to the world.
I am. I'm giving you
accolades.
Props.
You're giving me props right here?
Accolades. Wow. To go with your artisanal coffee.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Tell me more about how awesome I am. Go ahead.
Well, I think there's sometimes when you understand the history of something, then you can also understand why you do things a certain way and why you don't do things a certain way and how people have thought before you and how you could build upon that. I think it's always good to stand on the shoulders of others that have come.
Giants.
Exactly. And have done great things.
Okay.
Now, that's not for everybody.
No.
And I understand where they're coming from, and I don't disagree. I just think there's there's like a pendulum, right? And it always swings left to the right. Yeah. I think there's always balance in the middle, and you can lean one way, but you never want to forget the other side of it.
Yeah. Well, that's what Scott says. He talks about, if you're going to talk about the coffee, then do a pour over. If you're not going to talk about the coffee, then just...
Don't say we do and then don't.
Just flip the spigot, give them the coffee, and send them on their way.
The spigot?
Yeah, spigot. Just flip the spigot.
Don't you flip your spigot at me.
Don't you flip your spigot at me, young man.
That is
You will go directly to your room, no supper.
Last time I
come
to this
So what was the analogy that I made?
You were talking about, because and you spend a little bit of time in the football world. And you were talking about how when you coach, and good coaches do start with fundamentals and do start with basics about what the team is trying to accomplish. However, sometimes it's good to know about history. The history of players, the history of great games, the history of great coaches.
The history of defenses and offenses and how they attack you. How does that offense attack a defense, and how does that defense attack an offense?
Yeah.
What's the history behind it?
Yeah.
It's true students of the game, as it were.
Now, you might not start there, especially with the youngins.
No.
Let me tell you about the history of this defense we're going to run.
Exactly. It's kind of like with the youngins, with kindergartners, first and second graders. You don't start the history of the 4-3 defense, right? You don't start there.
No.
You don't start there.
Just like what preceded that.
Just like you don't start with, the history of coffee in Ethiopia or Yemen. you start them off on chocolate-covered espresso beans and send them home. That's what you start.
There you go.
That's what you start the youngins off with.
Here, taste this.
Here, eat this.
Put it in your mouth.
Put this in your mouth and chew it. And now go home to your parents. Tell them how much you love football.
I'm so pumped up right now.
So pumped up. Oh, man.
However,
yeah,
there is a point, right, in a young individual's football athletic career that information will help further them.
Yeah, yeah.
And there is a time and place for it. So you don't want to forget it.
Yeah, perfect. I love it.
All about the fundamentals.
Yes. Yeah. Moving right along.
Moving right along.
To your coffee experience.
I'll just leave it right there and walk away. Coffee experience. We, together, made a trip for work.
You said I was making it awkward.
I was just trying to make it dramatic.
No. You made it awkward instead of dramatic. So we went down to Phoenix for work.
Same thing.
While we were there, it is our custom to go to a coffee shop. It is Royal Coffee. We normally...
It's like a stone's throw, as they say.
Yeah. Just down the street from where we work. And we normally go there first. Regardless of whether we're going to be late for meetings, late for lunch appointments, late for whatever, we're going to go to Royal first.
Yeah, I don't know if Royal was the reason we were late or if it was the shiny new coffee equipment sitting in the window.
Or
Williams and Sonoma.
Yeah,
I wasn't going to say Apple.
You were gonna tell them about that?
No,
it's
because
irrelevant.
We probably have
irrelevant.
a lot of Samsung listeners.
Oh, that's okay if you listen on Samsung. Totally good. But we did stop into the Apple store just to look around and talk about customer service with the people that walk around.
To interact with them.
Yeah, perfect.
See what makes them great.
And then we also stopped. As we walked by Williams Sonoma, they had an espresso machine. So we said, well, let's go take a look at the Nespresso machine. And then they not only have Nespresso, they have espresso, and they have pour overs. They,
Hario.
Kettles. They have scales. They have everything.
Fellow Stag.
They had the Fellow Stag.
I was surprised to see that.
Kettle.
Yeah.
And it was a polished metal one. It was cool.
With a little thermometer on top.
Thermometer. Mm-hmm.
Thermometer.
A thermometer right on top so you can see what the temperature of your water is.
Yeah.
So while we were there, we saw this Breville espresso machine. Mm-hmm. And it is $500-something.
They had a couple of them, but I think the one you were looking at was like the barista.
I like the infusion one. That's $500. But then Mikey said, get the one with the grinder. Since you're going to have to buy a commercial grinder anyways, once you pick something decent up.
Yeah.
So
it's twofold.
I'm thinking about pulling the trigger on the Breville.
Yeah. We looked at the reviews. Now, granted, right, built-in grinder is not going to be. It's not going to be your EK. It's not going to be the top of the line grinder.
But it's going to be good enough for home.
But all the reviews,
like,
and even
like
from Seattle Coffee Gear, Prima Coffee,
a lot of reviews.
Amazon, they're like, this is a great machine to start with.
This is a great little at-home machine.
Yep. So it's appealing, and it looks good.
So that may have made us late for our meeting, but we still went to Royal. 2 cortados, 2 mochas to go. And it wasn't as good as it had been in times past.
Yeah, the cortado. And I don't know if we're just romantic about the first couple times you drink a cortado.
No, because we went to press later on that day and we had a cortado and it was awesome.
Yeah, our romance was kindled.
So our romance was rekindled with the cortado, but it was Press's cortado.
Is this the show of innuendos? Do we have to... Oh, what?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, good.
So Royal was okay, but another barista, somebody we'd never met before, it seems a lot of turnover. And granted, we hadn't been there for months, but we still work for the same company.
We do.
Months later.
When I go
to press, I've seen the same people.
Yes.
Months
it's
later.
More consistent. And even if you're new, there's nothing wrong with that. There's still, I think, a level of service and professionalism and quality in the cup that should be delivered.
Yeah.
That's a mark of a good company.
That's it.
Yes, they're new, but they're here by themselves because we trust them, we've trained them, and they're ready to rock.
Or...
no teller before their time, as we used to say.
Yes, they're here by themselves, but it's because we refuse to pay someone else to work with them, and we're just going to let them wing it. And if they do a good job, they do a good job. If not, oh well. Hopefully you don't hold it against them and our brand.
And one thing that Royal rocks, what's the brand? The hand pull.
The hand pull espresso machine.
Which I was watching her.
Yeah.
And she set up, and she started, left hand and then right hand, but then let them both go at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering with a hand pull.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
But as far as quality and consistency,
I
think it would be harder.
Yeah.
Than just hitting a some volumetric, something that's dialed in already with.
Yeah, something where you can kind of tell what's going on.
I dialed in this morning. I don't have to worry about.
There's got to be. Well, what about the super automatics then? There's got to be some. You cut it off somewhere.
You do
kind of steaming your own water.
And you do you.
You do you.
But do it well.
Do
it right.
Yeah, make sure it tastes good.
That's what Scott said, right?
Yeah.
Which we'll get to.
Yeah, we'll get to that as well. So later on after work, on our way home, we decided to stop by Press Coffee.
Yep. Exactly on our way home. Didn't go out of our way at all.
We went out of our way.
Oh, we did go out of our way.
We went out of our way. The missus doesn't listen to the show, so I can be honest.
You were still on time.
20 minutes out of the way. One way. So 40 minutes total.
A little bit.
About 45 minutes out of the way.
That's what Siri said to do.
That's what Siri recommended, and we followed.
Mm-hmm.
And we had, again, we bought some coffee. What do we got over there? We got...
this was a new location. You hadn't been there. I
had not been to the new location.
When we walked in, I was immediately pumped up to be there. I was ready to buy. I was ready to try. I was ready to talk.
I was ready to learn.
Which I'm, not as excited as you are sometimes.
As who?
To do such
as
things.
Jake? As me?
Yeah,
as I am?
As you.
That's true.
As Jake is sometimes.
Yeah.
But just the environment. You could just tell.
They love coffee.
They're ready to live in that world that is coffee.
Yeah.
And I wanted to enter in.
The culture is the same. Every press you go to, it's the same culture. Yeah. I mean, it's just, you're not going to have a bad experience. I have yet to have a bad experience.
As you talked, which you talked quite a bit, I was asking the barista a few questions, and you knew the answers, and you were excited to chime in. But then he still matched you, whether it was about locations, whether it was about brew tips or recommendations. He matched us word for word, sentence for sentence, because he was excited to talk about it, to give his opinion about it.
He was right there.
And even so much so, I was like, finally deciding, I will get, this Ethiopian on the conga, on the Kalita. And he's like, I can do that. But...
And it's going to be good.
Yeah.
But it could be better.
But I would recommend the Chemex, and here's why.
It could be better.
I thought that was so cool. I was like, you recommended it. Let's try it. Put it to the test.
And?
I enjoyed it.
It was good.
It was good. It was a little cleaner, a little crisper, I think, and it brought out the flavors of this Ethiopian here, this conga.
And he went and bought 12 ounces of a whole bean from them as well. He bought a bag of coffee as well.
Because I wanted to compare at home. Blueberry, violet, and cocoa.
Mike, did you get blueberries to the face?
I probably got like blueberry, a blueberry pie cooking in the windowsill next door.
Yeah, it wasn't blueberries to the face.
No, actually more cocoa.
If they'd have had it on single origin or if they'd have had it on espresso,
they would have had that
because
single.
There was something wrong with because we said, hey, can we get what single origin do you have on espresso? And it says, I don't have anything because our roaster is down. We didn't get as many beans in as we wanted to, and so we're not doing anything. No single origin.
They had to
on
adjust.
espresso.
They had to adjust one of the roasters.
Yeah, they had to adjust one of the roasters. It was a Probat. I think they're both Probats down there. But we couldn't get the conga on espresso because that's what I really want. That'll give you blueberries to the face. So instead, I had a cortado and a mocha to go.
The mocha is amazing.
The mocha is amazing. It is the perfect balance. Mocha. It's the best mocha I've ever had. It's always the best mocha I've ever had. Every time I go in, the perfect balance between sweetness and
there it is again.
Acidity.
Balance.
Life
is lived in balance.
So
it was really good. The other thing we noticed about their new location, which there's a story behind it, but right now they have a counter kind of off behind where you stand in line. And on that counter was a brand new EK grinder and
single group espresso machine.
Yeah, some nice equipment. I said, "What's that over there?" And I guess initially, right? They said the design was meant to be the pour over counter where they could kind of highlight the pour overs a little closer face to face with the customers.
Yeah,
but being up against the wall, there was nowhere for the barista to stand behind the counter.
Yes,
so they turned it into a training center. He says, we are going to show people how to make coffee, pull espresso shots, everything.
Do the whole nine.
At that counter. And there's going to be designated times you can come in and watch, learn, ask questions. I thought, that's probably even better.
It is better. I remember when I read about it, that's what their plan was for that location. I was super stoked that they were going to have training there.
Yeah.
They're going to have at-home barista training for people, and I was totally geeked out.
Convenient.
Yeah.
Especially since they are literally underneath the home of many residents.
Yeah.
Being in an apartment complex.
And then Prescott Coffee reached out to us and said, hey, Step 1 does training as well.
I saw that. That was cool.
Step 1 does home barista training.
Yeah.
So we're going to have to go.
That'd be fun.
We're going to have to go there. Check it out.
Check it.
Well, I want to check press out as well. I want to go to the tastings. I've not been to the tastings. I've been to their cuppings. We need to go to their cupping together. And then we also need to go to the tastings with our wives. And we need to go to the home barista training together.
Yes.
That's how we roll.
That's it.
And why not? Why not?
Why not?
Why not?
It's offered.
Why not?
Let's do it.
And I'm sure they're going to be gracious. They're going to give you something. It's going to
be an experience.
It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, when I went to the cupping, they gave me a free bag of that conga.
Yes, they did.
Yeah. Or it wasn't free. It was a gift.
It was gifted.
It cost them money.
Yeah.
It did not cost me anything except my time,
the goodness
and
of their heart.
enthusiasm. Yeah.
Gracious.
I think they real recognize real, or excited recognize excited. You know what else I'm excited about?
You are excited that... I got nothing. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, I was trying.
Great
I was looking
job.
at you.
Great job.
You gave me nothing, but
Great job.
You look.
I'm excited about trying to dial in the new Saguaro that we're trying to get. And that brings us to kind of this early edition. So we picked up a blend from Press as well.
Yeah, this guy.
Making that coffee at home. And it's been fantastic. I made you some today. What did you think of it?
Chocolate, peanut butter, big body. It was really good.
Big body.
It was good. I could see how it would hold up to a little cream.
Yeah.
Which is something nice that Press has an offering for those people that enjoy cream.
Yeah.
And huga.
And sugar in their coffee. Now, that, the missus says that she had thought it was a similar flavor profile to the Saguaro, which we no longer offer, the Costa Rica one, because our friends
Terrazzo.
bought the last one.
Yeah.
So they bought the last one. We were not ready to just transition straight into another one.
Like we should have been.
That's kind of a business fail there. But now we're sitting here trying to figure out something. We've got El Salvadorian and Nicaraguan. Did you think it tasted similar?
Samples.
Where would you put the early edition blend from Press Coffee Roasters? Was it similar to any of the single origin coffees that you have roasted?
No. I think they're different. I think they're within the same category. I think they're still good base, suitable for cream and sugar. But
chocolate nutty.
For me,
big body.
I've had some good time with them now. I think you have too. Several cups, different methods. This El Salvador, both of them smelled amazing.
Yeah.
They really did. But I really like the Nicaragua. Yeah. I think there was even a hint that reminded me of our original Mexican bean.
Yeah.
There was like a slight spice, like a slight
cinnamon.
And
a little bit of cinnamon in there.
And I thought it was good.
Right kind of in the middle. Was it in the middle? Almonds kind of in the middle. Cinnamon's at the end. I don't know. Cinnamon at the end, I think.
Cinnamon at the end, yeah.
So we got to get that going. One thing that Press does is they separate their single origin from their blends by the color of the
distinction.
bag.
Yeah. It's cool.
Now, we are only rocking single origins. We don't do blends. Do you think we should change up the color of the bag? King Cup in white, Saguaro in black, and the Natty in orange whenever we decide to offer a naturally processed coffee.
I think we've discussed that previously, and that was something we wanted to do.
Yeah.
I think it's just a nice way to, especially if we're going to continue to brand the categories as we are, it just helps separate them.
Yeah.
And make it unique.
Yeah. And I would say that bags are expensive.
That's the challenge.
I mean, bags are pricey when they're printed on. Custom. They're nice. They're custom. They've got brew instructions on them. They're just very cool. Very cool. And those are not even the ones that are resealable at the top, So...
Which I found was one criticism.
Yeah.
I really did.
You wanted them resealable.
Yeah, I don't like folding it and then taping it, and then the tape, after a couple sticks,
it comes off.
Stops
sticking.
Comes off.
So that was one of the things, and you contrast that with other products that are available to purchase that have resealable
Yeah, I think you've discussed this previously.
Yes, I discussed it on the Daily Ristretto today. I got a new a package of underwear.
Yep, I told you this is the show of innuendos.
This is good. Show of innuendos. So the underwear comes in a package that has a resealable top.
Like what kind of resealable top?
Like a Ziploc top.
Like something you would get.
Yes.
Almost like a
yes,
an item from the grocery store.
Yes, like you want to maintain the freshness of the item inside.
Yeah.
Or you want to replace an item
the produce section
back in it, and you want to be able to reuse it.
Yeah, it's got like a little Ziploc with a hole in it.
You don't finish your sandwich. Well, you throw it back in the Ziploc bag. You close it up. You save it for later. So the underwear have that. And I'm just like, I don't understand why we have a resealable top here. I don't think it adds any benefit.
Did you have to break a seal?
Yes.
Like it was sealed, and then after you break that, you can reseal it?
I think so. I just kind of pulled the top apart and...
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So why the resealable?
Why are the resealable top for the underwear? That's the question that I was wondering. Do you, after wearing the underwear, is it now, can you put it back in there? Is it going to keep them fresh? Is it going to freshen them up? Or are you just going to throw that bag away?
Very good question.
Do you take one out, wear it, and then the next one out, wear it, and then the next one out, wear it?
I think the logical answer is one you're not going to like.
What is it?
It's so that you can try them on in store and then put it back in.
Well, all of mine were taped. They have tape to keep them in that nice little roll.
Sure. That's an easy job for an employee to go back through and just throw a piece of
roll
tape.
them up and tape them up. Yeah.
No, I know. That's a good indicator. But to me, that's the only solution.
I hadn't thought of that solution.
Because when you shop for like a nice collared shirt, they have ones you can try.
Yeah.
And then they have those ones that are like sealed with the 30 million pins and the cardboard.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to try those on.
No.
You're supposed to know your measurements and grab and go.
Yeah.
But then you tear it apart and then...
Well, because like swimsuits, they ask you to keep your underwear on when you try them. Try them on.
What?
Yeah.
This is new to me.
But how do you know if you're getting the right underwear? Unless you break the seal, try them on, I guess, and then go from there.
Please keep your current set on.
You can just put them right back in that bag, seal it back up, and it's good to go.
Roll it up, seal it up, put it back. Roll it.
I hadn't thought of that. That is good. Can you? So, should we put?
You should reach out to the company and ask them.
Champion.
So champion.
Just champion.
This has been bothering me.
Champion
to no end.
Actually, I mean, I think I can probably tell you what it is. I mean, they probably just bought a bunch of bags and they had those on them.
Maybe it's easier. Maybe it's cheaper than running like some type of heat sealer or something.
Maybe that's what it was. But I would say for coffee, I like having a resealable top.
Oh, is that the point?
That's the point.
Underwear, no. Coffee, yes.
Perfect. All right.
Cool. Now that's settled.
Moving right on to the brew tip of the week.
Yes. So this brew tip of the week is something that we came across. That was
not across.
Nope. I'm cutting the tea out.
Oh, nice.
No, this was an email that came in that was shared. If you're not a subscriber to Scott Rao's email chain, you should be, or viewing his blog post because he gives great updates and
good stuff out there.
Little things he's working on, reviewing and discussing. Mm-hmm. This time, surprisingly, it was, hey, I've got a new V60 video out there. Go check it out.
Yeah.
So I did.
On YouTube.
Yeah. Yep. So it was good. It was good. I recommend hitting it up. But to summarize, Scott is a big fan of just doing a bloom and a single pour.
But so you do a bloom.
Yeah.
And then you excavate it.
That is one of the keys. Yeah.
You use a spoon to excavate the coffee and get all the water.
Make sure everything's wet. Make sure everything's wet. Yeah.
The grounds.
Don't be afraid. Get in there.
And then
excavate it.
One single pour.
Yep, one single pour. I think he recommends 22 grams for the O2 size.
Yeah.
And then 360 grams of water, about a 16 to 1, 16.3 to 1 ratio.
What about the pour speed? How fast does he recommend pouring it, or does he talk about it? Just regular?
I don't think there was much. I can't recall. I think it's just at a good, you want some agitation. You don't need a ton. You don't need to dump it. Just do it. I think he gives some timing metrics to hit. Yeah. So at 45 seconds, I believe, you start your pour after the bloom, and you pour all 360. And then at a minute 45...
300.
An additional 300.
Because you did 60 for the bloom.
Correct. Yeah, 360 would be your total. After you're done pouring, he gives a little one revolution spin across the top or around the top with a spoon, just to kind of pull anything off the sidewalls that maybe were missed.
Yeah.
And then he lets it sit until minute 45, which then he does the Rayo spin. Just a couple shakes in your hand, revolutions, just to
birds.
Stir up the grounds a little bit
birds.
And set it back down. This helps ensure an even bed as it drains.
I love it.
One thing I noticed, and I think you saw as well doing this method, you actually do get some rotational drawdown.
Yeah.
With the V60.
Yeah. With the pour, do you want to do a center pour or do you want to do a circular pour?
A circular. Yeah.
So we're doing a circle pour.
A similar pour to probably what you're used to. If you're doing that, you kind of want to go in to out, concentric circles, hitting the dark spots.
Nice.
Yeah. One thing that he did mention in the video a couple times is he says, don't be one of those baristas that raise and lower the kettle like a madman. No need for that. Keep it at an even height and just do nice
He also
circles.
recommended using a plastic V60.
Yeah, he did make mention that his theory behind that was when you're brewing, if you touch, the porcelain version, it's extremely hot. Sometimes almost you can't touch it, right?
Yeah.
If you touch the plastic version, you can handle it no problem. So he's saying that to him is an indicator that the heat is not being sucked away from the slurry in the plastic version. Mm-hmm. Plus, it's like $7.
Yeah.
Which is a plus.
Cheap. Which is pretty cheap, yeah.
So I may or may not have went and bought a plastic version after watching that.
Yeah, you brought a plastic one. You brought me back my porcelain one, and now I get to play with the V60 some more.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So I tried it a couple times. I brewed my traditional method, which I've always done 22 grams, but I've done 3 pours.
Yeah.
And the reason for the 1 pour that he mentions in the video, and there's probably more to it, so watch the video, is that it keeps the heat of the slurry more constant and elevated.
More consistent.
Yeah, it doesn't drop. And that makes sense to me.
When the water runs out, it cools the beans. Yeah.
The bed probably plummets in temp. If we had a little probe in there, you'd probably see it drop quite quickly as soon as all the hot water drains out.
Yeah.
So getting it all in there just keeps the temp up, which ensures a better extraction.
Yeah.
His grind tip, when it's done, is that you want the bed to look like wet sand, not mud. If it looks like mud, you're probably producing too many fines. Mm-hmm. Go a little coarser on your grinder. Another thing he mentioned that I thought was interesting is as far as the time, right? We've always kind of shot for a specific time. Adjust your grind to hit 3 minutes, 30 seconds, or a window between 3 and 4 minutes.
Yeah.
He says that if you have a high-end grinder like an EK, you can get a high-yielding cup in 2 minutes or less because there are no fines to slow it down. But you still get a high extraction. If you have a not as good a grinder or a cheaper grinder, you get more fines. Your cup might be 4 minutes to draw down, but that's still required, or that's just the nature of the grind because you're producing so many fines.
Those were some challenges. I tried the Hario Slim Mill hand grinder today.
Oh, yeah, we were playing with that.
Yeah, and it was challenging to get anything kind of decent out of it. It just beat those beans to hell.
There were some that were powder, and there's some like
big
chunks.
Yeah, some pretty big chunks. Some good chunkins in there.
Nice. You got. Be funny to sift that. Yeah, I did a couple different grinds with it too, and I couldn't get.
Yeah,
but I would consider
nothing consistent.
Yeah, and we brewed a cup of the Conga with it, and just wasn't
that good.
Yeah.
Now you liked the Conga on the Chemex more than the V60 as well, didn't you?
I did, but I enjoyed it on the V60. The V60 brought up more of the cocoa, a little bit more base.
I don't want base. I want blueberries to the face.
So it could be my ratio. I should probably back it off a little bit because they recommend, lighter. With these natties.
With the natties, you want to go a little lighter ratio. Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll even out to a 20-1.
Hey, you don't know unless you try.
Don't know it unless you try it. So here's a crazy question for you. A crazy question.
I love crazy.
I love crazy. Okay, if you get a more base flavor and a more full-bodied cup out of a flat bottom dripper, why are there no angular espresso portafilters? You see what I'm saying? Like, why are there none coming down at an angle?
I don't know. If there is, I haven't seen one.
Do you think you would get brighter flavors out of that?
I think I saw a post a while back by Socratic where they had something crazy looking like that, an experiment.
Yeah, like a little cone.
Yeah,
like a bottomless cone almost.
Yeah, like a V60
something.
Yeah, portafilter.
Or like the cone from Abel for the Chemex, just teeny tiny.
I don't know. It's a good question. I guess because maybe, the premise of it is you have a small amount of grounds that you're pushing a fair amount of water through quickly. And in order to make sure all is extracted as evenly as possible, you want it consistent across.
Yeah.
But across that time?
Across.
With a T.
Gotcha.
It's a good question. I think questions like that, though, need to be continued to ask, and people like Socratic and those in the
experiment.
The fiddling and MacGyvering need to
experiment.
Have at it, yeah.
Be like, wow.
Appreciate the work they do because
taste this.
I ain't doing it.
Never heard, never seen it, never tried it, never heard of it. Taste this.
Just taste this.
Just put this coffee bean in
You don't
your
want to
mouth.
know what I did. It's kind of like the premise behind Elixir. We're not going to tell you what we did because if we did disclose it, you would judge us.
Or you could duplicate it,
Or that.
that would be worse.
Or a little of both. Yeah. But it tastes good. Cool. What else we got going on today?
So the two beans that you're roasting up to try and replace the Saguaro, one is from Nicaragua, the other is from El Salvador. They are both beans that you purchased samples from Sweet Maria.
Yep. Sweet.
However,
However,
there's another company that's in the running for our next Saguaro,
there's a contender.
and that is Genuine Origin.
Genuine Origin.
Genuine Origin sent you free samples, didn't they?
They did.
Gifted you samples.
Yep. 300-gram samples per bean selection.
Have you roasted any of that yet?
No.
They followed up and they introduced themselves, though, didn't they?
Yeah, I
They
got an
sent you
email yesterday, which was pretty cool. They said, hey, see, you've had a couple days with those samples. How you liking them?
You done anything yet?
Yeah. You bum. What's
You
going
bum.
on? I know.
Get off your butt and onto the bullet.
But she introduced herself and just wanted to follow up, see what I thought, if I had any questions.
Yeah.
Also, I'm going to pull it up here. They did a little bit of research on us. Jennifer says she handles the West Coast for GO. I saw that you've had your samples a few days now. Hope you're enjoying them. In my initial Google search, we've been Googled.
Wow.
It looks like you have a coffee podcast / education hub. Very cool. I'd love to learn a bit more about what you're up to so I can
see that you
best assist.
dominate the Orange Cactus Coffee search, the front page.
Yeah, I see you've got like a lot of content, but what are you trying to say?
But what are you guys really doing?
So Jen reached out and then asked some questions. Kind of what coffees are you looking for? How much do you roast? What's your price range? What's important to you? And lastly, the first concert you ever attended.
Is that what they said?
Yeah.
Do you remember the first concert you attended, Mike?
The first concert I ever attended, I do. It was Coldplay.
Really?
Coldplay.
I don't think I've ever been to a Coldplay concert.
It was very, very good. It was indoors, and they had lights and everything, you know. That's when the first album drops, when the song Yellow was popular. So, of course, he had yellow lights shooting around the room.
Yellow, too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. But I thought that was kind of neat, you know, start a conversation, get to know your customer.
Did you email them back and say
who dis? New phone?
New phone, who dis?
Not yet, but I will.
No?
I was really hoping to roast yesterday. It was on my to-do list as well as other things.
Yeah.
So I really wanted to get that done and then let her know what I thought. Because it seems like they're committed to providing a good quality product. And if you're not satisfied, I have a feeling they're going to try and make every attempt to satisfy you.
Yeah.
So more to come.
Cool. Very cool. I can tell you my first concert.
Oh, where'd you go? Was I supposed to ask you? I'm sorry.
You were supposed to, but it's okay because I was just going to say it
Yeah,
anyway.
you're just going to do your thing.
I was not going to wait for the invitation. I'm just going to go.
Let me tell you about my experience. Okay, great. I didn't ask, but go ahead.
Yeah. I went to go see Steve Taylor in the 1980s. I want to say
It's like Chuck Taylor's?
Steve Taylor is an American singer-songwriter, record producer, music executive, filmmaker, and actor. A figure in what has come to be known as Christian alternative rock.
Oh.
It was a Christian alt rock concert, and I want to say he came to Heidelberg, and my dad, I don't know how he got us backstage, but he
did.
He got us.
Nice.
He got us backstage, and I remember meeting him in all his 1980s glory. He was wearing like this white suit with different colored patches and stuff all over it. And I remember it being loud, and I remember wanting to go home. And can't remember whether we stayed for the whole thing or not.
You mean you weren't into it?
And I don't know if I've been to a concert since.
You've been to one and only?
Yeah, it was that bad.
And it was...
Well, I was a kid. I was
Steve
little.
Taylor.
I was little. I was like 4 years old or something like that.
I'm with you.
And I'm like, why would I want to go to a concert? This stinks.
Yeah.
Actually, I've been to one concert since then, and it was an orchestra concert for class. I had to go for school at the Hollywood Bowl. That's
well,
it.
you've been to other music performances, though.
Well,
there's been some Christian rap venues and stuff, I'm sure, along the way.
Yeah.
Maybe not a concert.
Not a concert at like a real
unquote.
concert hall,
Yeah.
but like at churches and things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Because, music's big for you. But
Music is big.
that's interesting to know. Yeah, I've been to that, and I've been to Dave Matthews, since we're camping here for a moment.
Wow.
Dave was pretty
Matthews?
good. Yeah. It doesn't take long. About 30 seconds into his first song, the reefer in the air becomes quite
The light goes down, the reefer goes up, and
You're like, what's
everything just kind of floats off into eternity there.
Man, this place is littered with skunks. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Interesting.
It was interesting. Then I've been to a Bouncing Souls concert, for anyone that knows about that.
Bouncing Souls.
It was a private concert held at ASU. A little quick story. I'm sorry to go off on this, but
No, you're not.
No, I'm not, because this is interesting. Bouncing Souls was kind of a punk rock band, and they were performing at ASU, and it was kind of like a low publicized gig. You could come. They were going to perform like in their cafeteria. You could come, be like face to face while they rock out in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
So me and two of my friends decide we're going to not go to school this day. We're still in high school, and we're going to drive down to ASU and take advantage of this opportunity.
Yeah.
So we roll up. We're getting ready for the show, and we look across over.
Not
I keep using
across,
that word.
but across.
We look to the side, standing in this half circle around the band before their setup is that, wait a minute, is that our English teacher?
No.
What's he doing? So he looks at us, and right away he knows, okay, I'm caught. He comes over to us, he goes, I won't tell on you if you don't tell on me. And we said, not a problem. And he was
not a word.
He was a younger dude. And he was totally into punk rock, monster trucks,
and Bouncing Souls.
He was also the wrestling coach that liked to kind of prove himself that he was stronger than you young high schoolers.
Yeah.
And I can't tell you how many wrestling matches we got into in class with him.
Wow.
4 or 5 of us on top of him.
Is he still there?
No, I
Does
think
he still teach English?
I think the story goes he ran away with one of the high school girls. Yeah, that dude. So
is he in jail, or did that turn out well for him?
No, it wasn't illegal.
Oh,
She was, I think she just graduated, and she was 18, but it was still like, that's a little sketchy.
Yeah.
And then he disappeared. But still, nonetheless, an interesting story.
Yeah.
Seeing your English teacher at the punk rock concert you ditched school to go watch.
Wow.
100 miles away.
Wow.
Anyway, this is a podcast about coffee.
Podcast about coffee. Oh, okay. So it's not about punk rock bands and teachers running off with their students.
No, just think that guy seems a little too into our culture.
There's a reason.
There could be other indicators.
That's a red flag.
Other flags, other things to be concerned about.
All right, moving right along.
Let's roll. Come on.
And then we got to go to coffee knowledge and put this thing to bed here.
Put it to bed.
Yeah, put this thing to bed. But while Mike is getting that going from the Book of Roast, and that is from roast.com. Roast Magazine, thank you. Roastmagazine.com. While he's getting that segment open, I'd love to hear what your coffee experience, your concert experiences are. Don't care about your coffee experience.
Not at all.
Just your concert experience. Hit us up. I'd love to know. And also, if you have questions for Scott Rayo about coffee, I guess maybe we should hit Scott up and ask him what his first concert experience was. Do you think he would answer that?
Let's carry it on.
Do you think he would answer something that is not coffee related for us? Maybe a little personal?
Part of me, I'm split. Part of me thinks he might actually be refreshed and excited to do so.
Yeah.
And then part of me might think,
why are you wasting my time?
Ain't nobody got time.
Why are you wasting my time? Ain't nobody got time for this. Okay.
But we do want to hear yours, especially if there's something unique or unforgettable that happened.
Yeah. And if it's coffee related, then that could be even better.
If you remember what you were drinking.
Like, I remember the first time I had chocolate covered espresso beans.
Yeah. You do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Maybe that's a story for another day. I think that's a ristretto. That's a ristretto for you, buddy.
But my brother, well, I mean, while you're getting that, I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
My brother bought some. He's 3 years older than I am.
Okay, yeah.
And so he had his cool
responsible
friends.
one.
He had his cool friends. We were at a mall. I think it was in Albuquerque somewhere. I think it was the old Windrock Mall.
Pulls out a baggie.
So he pulls out a baggie and he says, "Hey, Jake, try some of these."
Just try it.
Oh, it was on and cracking. I remember, I was like, "What is it?" And I remember eating it. I was like, "It's chocolate. It's good." And then the crunch was like, "Oh, those are a little bitter. Can I have some more?" he's like, sure. So I must have eaten a handful or two, and then it was on.
Off to the races.
It was on. Bouncing off of like the seating arrangements, running around the mall, up and down the food court. I was probably 14, 13.
Perfect time.
13 or 14.
Highly caffeinated.
I was highly caffeinated for the very first time that I can remember.
That's funny.
And there was no stopping me. No stopping me. Running up and down, running in and out of stores, jumping off of, I don't even know what furniture. But it's not furniture, right? I mean, they're these large benches with
just run around
planners next to them.
What is up with that kid?
Yeah. Well, here, hand me the book.
No, because I think we might be somewhere a little more enjoyable. And that is, I'm going to now share my highly caffeinated story. I think this is good.
So it's about.
I think we all have highly caffeinated stories, right?
Yes.
Instead of like
the first time that you were high on caffeine,
exactly,
where this is a problem, you're going to come down from this.
I think I had too much.
But that was my first. I didn't know what I was doing. My brother.
Do we ever know the first time? I didn't know.
I didn't know
mixing these two.
I've been chasing the dragon ever since.
I've never heard of this Robusta.
But
I want more.
I haven't heard of this Robo, but I want to become RoboCop again.
So anyway, my experience with being highly caffeinated for the very first time, unlike any other, unforgettable, is my friend and I went to a coffee shop here in Prescott, where I still live, many years ago. We're talking, I don't know, I was younger, 12, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
And it was, we drank coffee, but by no means into specialty coffee. And this shop was kind of like newer and trying to set itself up as the coffee place. And so we go in there, I think we order a couple cups of coffee. And what was interesting, at that time we were both single, and I think the owner was single. So there was kind of this unique dynamic. The first thing she says to us is, hey, we have a singles list here that we would love to put your name on if you guys want to be a part of this singles only group. And we look at each other like,
Creepers.
Yeah. We were a little unsure about how to handle.
Are you boys in high school?
Yeah.
Oh, that is so cool. I love high school boys.
We were just fresh out.
I love high school boys.
Getting introduced to how the world works.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I think we declined that, had our cups of coffee, and then, she kept coming over, though.
With more
coffee. And I think it was tied in with the whole, let's get you on this list here.
Yeah. Roofies.
She
put roofies in your coffie.
I think we tried espresso. Have you guys ever tried espresso? No. Boom. Let's try espresso.
It tastes even better if you take your shirt off.
And I was going to leave that part out. But then lastly, she finished up. Have you guys ever had a vacuum pot? A vacuum pot? What are you talking about?
Have you ever used a gas mask? The air can't escape.
Boom. Here's this pot in front of us. The vacuum pot where the coffee goes in, the water sucks up. Wow, it's magical. Drains. You drink it.
So cool.
I don't know how much we had, but we left that place and we walked around what we have, a little courthouse square downtown.
You ran.
We were running. I felt so dizzy. My head was spinning.
Yeah.
It was probably 11 o'clock at night, and we were wired. I just laid on the grass, and I felt like I had the spins. Almost like if you've ever had the great pleasure of drinking too much alcohol, they have something called the spins. Which is not something you ever want to experience, and a good way to keep you from ever pursuing that again, which is my case with coffee.
Yeah. So that's why you don't drink any coffee. Mike this is his coming out moment. Yep. He's actually only consumed decaf.
Highly caffeinated is really just a front. It's just a front for my insecurity and my lack of self-control.
Okay.
No, but I never wanted that again because I didn't feel too good after a while. At first, you're like,
it's too much. Awesome. It's too much. Yeah.
Awesome.
Then when you come down, it's not good.
Hey, you want to go get another vacuum pot?
Your body will reject
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right. Let me read the book of roast here.
Or you want to still finish up with that?
Yeah. Let me finish up a little coffee knowledge. We teased it. We can't go to it next time. It's just a short.
Just wanted to share a little bit about us. All
right.
Okay. So here we go. We talked last time about kind of the three main, varieties of the coffee family. I thought it'd be nice to get into some of the definitions that we see thrown around that have confused me.
The coffee family. Genus. A category consisting of a group of organisms or species that are closely related and thus exhibit similar characteristics. Coffee is in the genus Coffea, which includes more than 25 other plant species. Variety versus a varietal.
That's a good one.
Most likely you've seen these words used interchangeably, or perhaps you've seen them used to describe a location, such as Java. In truth, there are only two generally recognized botanical varieties of Arabica coffee, bourbon and typica. The difference between variety and varietal is a grammatical one. Variety is a noun. This coffee's variety is typica, while varietal is an adverb. The differences in bean size are varietal in nature. Cultivar. A cultivated plant that has been selected for its desirable characteristics that distinguish it from other plants of the same species. A cultivar should have a name that conforms to the International Code of Nomenclature for Cultivated Plants, ICNCP, commonly called the Cultivated Plant Code. The name must be distinct from other cultivars, and when propagated, the plant must retain its desirable and different characteristics. Samples of cultivars include Caturra, Mundo Novo, and Ruiru 11. Ruiru.
Perfect.
Ruiru.
There you
11.
go. That's better.
Bourbon and typica can also be used as cultivar names, as in red bourbon.
Oh.
Hybrid. A cross between members of the same species, interspecific or genus, intraspecific. Hybrids can be natural or deliberately made in breeding programs. I'd like to be a part of the coffee breeding program, please. When do I get my first cup? Mutation, a sudden departure from the parent plant in one or more characteristics caused by a change in a chromosome. Self-pollinating, when a plant's own pollen is used to produce a fruit, such as in Arabica coffee. Cross-pollinating, when a plant cannot pollinate itself and requires pollen from another plant to produce a fruit, such as in Robusta coffee.
Oh,
I was just thinking, you're self-pollinating, aren't you, Michael?
Well, now we understand
what juvenile.
We understand what Robusta's problem is.
No, it's cross-pollinating.
Oh, is that good?
Yeah. Yes. All right. Thank you for joining your juvenile hosts here at the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast.
And don't forget, we want to hear both about your first concert or experience and
your first highly caffeinated.
Hit us up, let us know, and you better cut this off before we both screw this one up.
But we didn't, and we have not. Thanks for listening to the Orange Cactus Coffee Podcast. The show notes are found at orangecactuscoffee.com/episode 80. We'd love to hear from you about your concert experiences, coffee experiences, chocolate-covered espresso beans, or too many of them inside the mall experiences. And you can hit us up at jacob@orangecactuscoffee.com, Mike at orangecactuscoffee.com, or Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, wherever you're hanging out. Come hang out with us. Thanks for listening. Catch you next time.